This video is a send-off to Juniper month where I did honest looks for the 4 members of Team Juniper. And there's one thing I wanted to address in my honest look at Pyrrha, but cut for time. There's a missing piece in her arc. The biggest issue I have with Juniper is that they felt disconnected from Team Ruby. This is why the 4 hellish weeks of the Jean arc were so insufferable. The show is called Ruby. The trailers were focused on the individual members of the titular team. They're the reason anyone ever started watching. So then why, aside from Jean being a self-insert, did they take away from that so early on? It would be different if the show gave us a reason to care before this. It would also be different if they gave Team Ruby something to do before this. It did neither, which is why the bully arc would have still sucked even if it wasn't cliched, which it is. This is why in my Ruby Volume 1 video I suggested thematically tying Jean's arc with Blake's. So let's talk about Ruby and Pyrrha. Ruby and Pyrrha are both prodigies. Pyrrha is a multi-tournament champion. Ruby got moved ahead 2 years. They both have a strong connection to Jean. Ruby is probably his best friend and Pyrrha has romantic feelings for him. They are both selected by Ozpin for daunting tasks. Ruby is the key to Salem's defeat, and Pyrrha is selected to be the Fall Maiden. They both have a red theme, and they both have worldviews that will have them gladly die in the line of duty. So what interactions do they have? A scene where Pyrrha explains her semblance, a scene where Pyrrha pays for lunch, and a scene where Ruby puts more pressure on Pyrrha to win. Considering that Volume 3 climaxes with both of these characters potentially throwing their lives away to save the city, one of them dying and the other one seeing it, thus triggering her own innate abilities, I feel this connection has far too much wasted potential. So sometime, preferably in Volume 2, there should have been a scene where they actually talk things out. It could have even been at the dance, which already serves as a realization for both of their characterizations.
Well, you can't spend your entire life on the battlefield.
You become separated from the people that put you there in the first place.
Yeah, that lesson's been floating around a lot lately.
Ruby should be the first person to greet Pyrrha at the dance. They both came alone. They can bond over this. Pyrrha has been placed on a pedestal and Ruby is the youngest person there. Ruby should be the one Pyrrha confides in about Jean. Ruby should play a more active role in bringing them together, sort of like Nora does. Having them bond over their positions, their isolations, and their relationship with Jean will make Pyrrha's death all the more tragic.
And thanks to you, I've made friendships that will last a lifetime.
This is one of the friendships Pyrrha should be talking about. This is another thing she sacrificed to do what she thought was right. And that idea should haunt Ruby because she's leading Pyrrha's team down the same path. It's literally a missing piece of the puzzle. I wouldn't be surprised if this was something left on the cutting room floor, Batman Forever style, but it's more likely the writers didn't even bother with it. Imagine how much stronger the scene would be if we had seen a connection between Ruby and Pyrrha and were allowed to digest how inherently similar these pathways are. It would also be a great way to add some much needed dread in the otherwise toothless story. Pyrrha's death was effective because she was the strong student, but she's just that, a student. Months of planning and all Cinder has to show for it is a single dead student? A shut-down school and some more magical powers? That's not even considering the hentai-level ass-pounding the villains took in Volume 5, when their only resistance was a bunch of students, civilians, and a single huntsman. The show is more interesting when the implication was that every single huntsman in history dies on the battlefield.
You want to be a hero? Then play the part and die like every other huntsman in history! But fighting and dancing aren't so different. One wrong move on the ballroom merely leads to a swollen foot.
Or a twisted ankle.
That dread would have stayed all the while longer had Ruby and Pyrrha gotten more screen time together. I'm Mediocrity4. Thanks for watching.